Nice little echo right there. Oof. Let me turn that down. Okay, maybe that'll be better. Is there an echo on your end?
No, is there on yours?
Just out of my phone, but we'll see how it goes.
Okay.
If not, everyone's gonna have to watch it on YouTube. But welcome to a new episode of Sports Harder. I am your host, Maddie Lukewarm Ice, as always, and my co-host for this episode is Chris the Gorilla Binder.
What's up?
How's it going there, Chris?
Busy, man. Get ready for Vegas and then Cabo and then Orlando.
Man, I'm very jealous, very jelly of your adventure that you're about to go on.
Well, we're not paying for Vegas or Cabo, and Orlando's been paid for 6 months.
I'm still jealous. Like, I mean, you're going on trips that you didn't even have to pay for. I mean, that's even better than going on the trips in general. So,
My wife's work is amazing. We'll just say that.
hey, there you go. You got to marry someone who's got those connections at their work. So, um,
Yep.
well, awesome. Well, we got a jam-packed episode, and we got a lot to talk about. We got the Olympics, we got NFL, we got NBA trade rumors and talks with the draft coming up. Um, got a lot of awesome stuff to cover. Facebook, we had a lot of comments about our top three wide receiver choices, so it'd be fun to give shout outs to those people that commented and be able to talk about some of them are pretty funny, so it'd be fun to talk about those comments. But let's get started. We'll start off with the Olympics and everything that's been going on with that. Of course, the major news coming out of the Olympics is Simone Biles having to bow out for mental health reasons out of the team competition. Later on, then discussing and seeing if she could continue for individual, and decided to not do individual as well. This morning, early morning, around 7 in the morning Eastern time. Um, I think her name is Soon Lee for America, won the all around gold. She placed third in the qualifying, and with Simone Biles being out, she ended up taking the gold for America. So it was cool that someone else on the American team stepped up. They got the gold. And then I think Brazil took the bronze, and then maybe Canada, I think, or Soviet or Russia got third. But Soon Lee stepping up and getting the gold for the all around for the women. With Simone Biles being out, the team got silver. Um, Now, a couple of things with that, and one thing I'm going to say is that being in America, everyone has their opinions and everyone has the right to their opinion. And so I feel like I am an individual who can listen to other people's opinions without having to tell them that they're absolutely wrong. And I think that's something that more people need to do. One of my teacher friends, we had a discussion about Simone Biles, and we had different opinions on about her stepping out and not being there for her team, but we were able to discuss it in a nice way and understand each other's uh, opinions, understand each other's viewpoints. And I think that's kind of missing. I think some people nowadays, they feel like it's my opinion and that's all that matters and it's right. And I think having an open discussion, and just like me and you, we kind of disagree on what's been going on with Simone. Um, I feel like that she kind of quit on her team, and she is saying it's for mental health reasons, which it one of those things is, I think, the pressure of the media and the pressure of everyone saying that she's the GOAT, she's the greatest of all time, and they kept telling her that all the time. And she didn't do well in qualifying. She messed up a bunch of times in her routines, but she qualified individually for each one. So she still did well enough because her routines are so difficult that even with her messing up a little bit, still was good, but it wasn't up to her standards. And during warm-ups, she messed up, and then she just said, no, I can't do it, I'm not going to go. And in my opinion, I feel like that, the pressure of the Olympics, yes, is immense, and it's a lot of weight on your shoulders, having the whole country on your back, and all these people saying that she's the greatest of all time. But if you are considered the greatest of all time, you got to be able to handle the pressure of being in those situations and being able to show that you can't quit on your teammates, because that put a lot of pressure on them, in my opinion, with her backing out on the day of finals. And they only lost by like a point. So if she even would have gone and still competed, they still could have won the gold, even with her not being at her best. I'll let you, kind of say your bit, because I know we have a difference in opinion on that, but that's kind of my viewpoint of how I've been seeing things since this is all kind of rolled out.
No, the only thing that I've ever advocated for is understanding and empathizing with the mental health issues, because it comes with it. All pro athletes are going to have mental health issues because they have this undying competitiveness that they have to be the best at what they do. Otherwise, they're not going to get paid. They're not going to get their endorsements. They're not going to get all of the recognition that they get. Like, if they make one mistake, they're done. Maybe this was her mistake. Maybe this is her way of saying, I'm finally done. She was the essentially the greatest gymnast we've ever seen. Like, she did routines that people were afraid to do. And she's like, screw it, I'll do it. I don't care. So one thing that should clear this up a little bit is I don't think that you are dogging the fact that she's having mental health issues. You're more looking at the fact that, hey, why'd you step away from your team? Why didn't you give somebody else that chance if you were having those mental health issues? The alternate could have come in if it wasn't last minute, and we could have won the silver or the gold, because she waited till last minute, knowing that she had these mental health issues. We didn't have the chance for the alternate. So we were at a disadvantage, having to run 3 people instead of 4, like every other team was running.
Well, the alternate actually did go in.
Oh, did they?
But
Okay.
it was so last minute, she didn't have any time to prep or get ready or anything like that. It was literally like in the moment they were just like, hey, you're going in.
So she had no training, no warm up, no nothing. It's just go.
Yep.
And like that's kind of unfair, and it kind of does put a damper on the team, but I mean, the same would be, it still put a damper on the team if it was a physical ailment that caused her to step out. Say she had done a vault, torn her MCL on the vault because she didn't land right. At that point we would be saying, oh, hey, it's you really got injured. We understand. But because it's mental health, a lot of people don't understand why she stepped out. It's not just you. Like, there's actually a lot of people online that are dogging her because of it. You haven't dogged her at all. Like, and that's something that I've seen on Facebook, is people are like telling you that your opinion is completely wrong without fully understanding where you're coming from with it. It's you understand the mental health side of it, but you also think that she did it in the wrong way, which that's a valid opinion. That's a valid thing to look at. And I'm in the same boat. Like, I appreciate the mental health stuff because I go through mental health issues. I know you go through mental health issues. Everybody goes through mental health issues. It's how you actually deal with it. And the fact that you can have mental health issues and people can look at you and go, oh, you're fine, without really understanding like what's going through your head, it makes it difficult. It is it can be a physical impairment. In her case, I think it should have been when she was doing the qualifying. Yeah, she qualified, but she was obviously having the mental health issues then because she didn't qualify very well. She wasn't at her peak. You could see it in the qualifying. You could see her face. She wasn't all smiles. She wasn't 100% focused. At that point, if I was her, I would have been like, look, I can't do this. That I just can't compete this year. Get somebody else in there that's ready for the team that can actually do this, rather than waiting till the very last minute at the Olympics.
Yeah, and I definitely agree with that. If she said in a press conference, the sport that she loves so much was taken from her, and she felt like she was doing the Olympics this year for the wrong reasons, and she wasn't doing it for fun. Now, again, I can understand that. That's perfectly fine. Like, if you feel that way and you feel like you're being pressured into it, she's not a young girl anymore. She's an adult. So she could make that decision before even training and going into competing at the Worlds. When you compete at the Worlds, you qualify for the Olympics. And at the Worlds, someone else could have competed and had that spot and gone to the Olympics and actually tried. And so, I feel like she's taking a spot from someone who actually would have wanted to do it instead of feeling like they were being forced to do it, like she said that she felt. Um, a young girl, because a lot of these gymnastic girls are very young. I can understand being forced into it and not really having a say. But I mean, she's what, 24 now, I think. Like, you're an adult. Like, you can speak up and you can be like, no, I'm done. I have my own gymnasium. Like, I have my own gymnastics arena where people come to feel safe, to bring their kids, and stuff like that. She centered it around a safe environment because of what she went through, with the team doctor. And she was already known as the greatest of all time, so she didn't have any more to prove. She didn't have to get more gold medals to make that a fact. um so that's the only thing I have a problem with. And the other thing was that, even though she didn't compete, she still got a medal. They still gave her a silver medal even though she didn't compete. um
Well,
I
I
mean,
mean, it's technically part of the team. They give the alternates a medal too.
oh,
So
okay, well,
if the
fair
alternates don't
enough.
compete, they still get a
They
medal.
still get a medal. Okay,
Yeah.
well, fair enough. Well, that I did not know. I thought it was only the ones that competed. So, um, that's fair enough then, since she was, cheering the team and coaching the team. Um, but this will be a big debate. I mean, people will talk about this for a while. I know Michael Phelps came out and was like, "Yeah, I know what that pressure is and what that feels like," because he had to keep going to break the medal count, record, and he had the pressure of having to, win all those golds that he won. But uh, one comparison that I liked that someone made online was, if you're considered the greatest of all time, the pressure of something like that, it can't be able to get to you to make it that you're the greatest of all time. Like Tom Brady, he's won 6 Super Bowls. And when he played against the Chiefs, he didn't say, "Oh, the pressure of winning a 7th Super Bowl, I can't do it. Put in the backup." He went in and under the pressure won a 7th Super Bowl.
Dude,
So
and he threw 4 interceptions in the NFC Championship.
yeah, yeah,
4 interceptions and still won.
and still won. Exactly. So I mean, and he's considered the greatest of all time. And I don't know if it's a fair comparison, I guess, because everyone says, gymnastics is different than all these other sports. But even like in swimming, like let's talk about swimming here for a bit. Like Ledecky. Ledecky is considered the greatest female swimmer of all time. They say she's the GOAT. She got beat twice by the same girl from Australia, beat her
Mm-hmm.
twice. And the one race, she got 5th place. She didn't even medal. She got 5th place. And then an hour later, she raced again and then won the gold. Like, do you not think that that's pressure, getting 5th place and everyone thinks you're the greatest in the world? You got 5th. But then right after that, she was like, whatever, I'm going to focus on the next race. And she ended up getting gold. So, I mean, I use these as examples just because I feel like, that's why you're there, is to persevere and to show people I can push through it and I can get through it. I wish no ill against her, obviously, but it's just, I feel like that those type of situations is how you become role models. You become the greatest of all time because you're persevering and you're pushing through it. Like, I wouldn't want to, you know, encourage people that quitting is okay like that. It's just like, oh, it's too much, we'll just quit. Like, that's just not a good mentality. I might be too, maybe I'm old school or something. I'm turning into an old fart or something, I guess, with having that mentality, but that's just kind of how I feel about it.
Yeah, I mean, I can totally see where you're at with thinking that the pressure is what got to her, and it's possible that's what it was, but it's also possible that like she honestly just could not mentally compete. You know, have it's may not have had anything to do with pressure. It may have to do with anxiety, may have to do with depression. You know, there's a lot of different things that it could be, and we can speculate all we want, but we're not her doctor. You know, honestly, like the way I look at it, a big problem right now that I see with the Olympics is everybody is more worried about the medals than they are about the athletes. Like you brought up Michael Phelps.
Yeah.
Michael Phelps had like a torn labrum, and we're like, oh, well, you got to compete. You have to compete so you can break the medal record. And it's like,
Yeah.
come on, dude, he's injured. Like, how are we supposed to expect him to do the swims that he does, the butterfly, the breaststroke, the free? Like, how is he supposed to do that with a torn labrum? That
Yeah.
shit hurts. And to be able to swim as fast as he does, that's going to impede him. And then if he loses, oh, well, you're not the greatest because you lost. It's like, come on, we need to get out of the mentality of chasing medals. Like the Olympics are fun, the medals are cool. Like, yeah, we have the most medals. Yay, hooray, USA. But honestly, like I would rather see the athletes healthy. I'd rather see them compete at their highest and not have to worry about mental health or physical health, you know, not have to compete injured like Carrie Strom did back in the day because of like she on a vault tore her ACL and MCL, and her coach, they'd already wrapped up the gold medal, already wrapped it up. And her coach said, well, you need to go out there and do it again. You need to do your second vault with a torn ACL and MCL. Like chasing medals has just gotten to be too much.
Yeah.
It's like LeBron chasing rings because he wants to prove that he's better than Jordan, but he's not going to because he's won five, four.
I think he's won 4.
Yeah, one with Cleveland, two with Miami, and one with LA.
Yeah.
So he's he's won four, but he's been 9 times. 9 times. Jordan went six and won all six.
Yeah.
Like there's no comparison. Like LeBron is the greatest all-around player to ever play the game. Honest to God, greatest all-around player. Jordan is the most unstoppable. Nobody could stop him.
Yeah.
And Kobe was just a scoring machine, even though he was all defense multiple times. And nobody really recognizes that. But he was a scoring machine. Jordan wasn't always a scoring machine. He could be, but us worrying about these guys chasing medals is about the same as LeBron worrying about being the greatest and matching Jordan.
Yeah.
It's pointless. Like at the end of the day, are we going to remember? I don't even remember the gymnast that won. Like you said her name like 10 minutes ago, and I don't remember her name.
Oh, for the individual?
Yeah,
Oh, Soon Lee. Yeah.
Sue
From,
Lee. Okay. In 3 years, are we going to remember her?
I mean,
Honestly, the
yeah.
only reason we know Michael Phelps is because he has the most medals in history. The only reason we know Usain Bolt is because that dude is crazy, crazy fast. Can you name any American runners that ran against him that year?
No.
Justin Gatlin,
Oh, there you go.
who originally he had the medal or the record. He had the world record for a while, and then Johan Blake took it, and then Justin Gatlin took it back, and then Usain Bolt just destroyed everybody. I remember that stuff because I love the track and field. I love actually watching the short races. I hate watching long races. I hate watching field shit. It's stupid to me. Anyway, people love it, but I don't. But I remember that because I paid attention to it. I'm not going to remember Soon Lee. I'm not going to remember. Like the only reason we remember Simone Biles is because she won 2 Olympics in a row.
Yeah.
Like she won 2 golds in a row. That's why she's the greatest because she's freaking amazing. But that's the problem is it's, oh, we want the gold, we want the gold, we want the gold. Oh, who won that gold again? We're not remembering these athletes for who they are. We're remembering that they won gold. That's it. So it's a medal chase, and it's frustrating to me because we don't take into account their mental or physical health.
Yeah, and who knows? Maybe with all this going on, that'll propel getting better at that going forward. Not only physically preparing the athletes, but mentally preparing them to go and compete as well. Because they had the 4 years to train, and so hopefully they'll take more into account that as well. Maybe because of this. Um, I'm sure some good will come of this. I'm sure. I just don't want it to turn into Simone Biles making money off of this, and like all of a sudden then she's on mental health commercials and she's like promoting all this stuff because she's already made enough money from all the endorsements from the medals that she's won before, and she's already in like loads of different commercials. So um if she's going to be an advocate and she's going to help out, then perfect. But I just don't want to see her like profiting from this in any way that then she already has. And there's a lot of Olympians who don't get the endorsements and they don't get the publicity like a Simone Biles does, to be able to have enough money to open up her own gym like she did. So you know, like you said, the mental health of all of the athletes and not just like the superstars. So hopefully this can be an eye opener for that. Um, Another thing was NBA basketball. Well, not NBA, sorry, but Olympic basketball. I say NBA because the NBA players are playing in it. So I know there was a big deal because they had lost their uh, expedition game before going into play, and then they lost their first game, I think, when they played. Um,
Lost to France, Rudy Gobert.
yeah, lost the good old Gobert. And right now, Luca is like killing it for his team. The first time that country has ever competed in basketball, and he's like carrying them on their back. I think like in game one, he had like 48 points or something like that. Like
Yeah,
he was
for
he was like,
Slovenia.
huh?
For Slovenia.
For Slovenia, yeah. So who knows? Maybe he's going to be able to, lead them to a medal for that country in basketball for the first time. Um, that would be pretty interesting. Um, I'm trying to see for here where everyone is at for the brackets and everything right now for basketball. Looking at the standings, that was for women. What about the men?
What about wasn't it women's softball
Yeah,
that won gold, or did they lose it to Japan for gold?
they lost to Japan for gold, and it was like a wacky play that made it where they lost as well because they had like bases loaded and the United States was hitting, and they hit a line drive at the third baseman and they stuck their glove out to catch it, and it bounced off the palm of their glove and went straight up in the air, and then the shortstop came over and just like caught it, which was an out, and then they tossed it to second, which was another out, which was a double play, and they ended up Japan ended up winning. And I was just like, what are the odds of that happening, really? Like, in America could have either tied the game or won the game with that play if it would have gotten through the infield, but it freaking bounced off of her glove perfectly that it went straight up in the air where the shortstop was able to run over and still catch it. It was just a crazy play. Like if you haven't seen it, definitely like look it up on YouTube. Um,
Well, the U.S. actually beat Japan in the opening round.
yeah, and it's not like it was a big blowout or anything. I think it was 2-0 that we lost in the final.
Uh,
So But yeah, U.S. ends up getting silver. But I think they said they're not going to do softball next Olympics. They're doing away with it. So
Hmm.
this was like the first time in a long time that they've had it back, and then now they're uh, taking it away again. So um, let me look at the bracket. They haven't even announced like the.
I will say I actually watched some water polo just because the women's US team water polo. And like I turned it on and they were playing Japan and they were beating them 24-3. I was like,
4-3. Damn.
like that's in the third period. I'm like, where's the mercy rule, guys? Like this is ridiculous. Like I one of the plays I watched, one of the US women, she swimming up, she throws a shot at the goal and the goalie hits it right back to her. There's no other Japanese
Here,
players
try
around, so
again.
she picks it up, fakes. So the goalie dives and she throws it the other way into the goal. I'm like, wow.
Oh
Like,
gosh.
where's all the defenders at?
Oh my gosh. Um, One cool thing on there for weightlifting for women, there was this woman from the Philippines who actually won the gold in weightlifting for women, and it was the first ever medal for the Philippines. Like, well, ever gold medal. It was their first ever gold medal. That's nuts. That's got to be such like a great honor to be known as like the first person to win a gold medal for your country, like
That's
ever.
freaking awesome.
Um, so that was really cool. Um,
The one that I watched was the swimming. Um, it was the men's freestyle 400, and it looked like Australia was running away with it. So it was like Australia, then the US, and then Tunisia was in third. The guy for Tunisia, I don't remember his name, but he ended up coming back in the last 50 and winning it. And so they Tunisia has one gold and one silver, and that's the only gold for that country for Tunisia was he actually won that free 400.
Gosh,
He was swimming like a madman to catch up, and he won by like 2/10 of a second. Like it was close.
well, I know there's been a lot of pressure on Dressler. He's one of the male swimmers, and he's like comparable as like they're saying that he's like the next Michael Phelps basically, and I know there was a lot of pressure on him to perform as well, being saying that he's going to be the heir apparent to Michael Phelps, and he won the gold medal in the 100 free. I think it was last night or the night before, and so he was like crying. He was like so emotional about it. Like he was so happy to have um I think gotten that monkey off of his back and that pressure of having to live up to that. And he won the gold, which was great. Um and he helped the men's relay team win gold as well. Which was really cool. So um and it was nice just to see how emotional he was, that he was like that proud to win the gold individually for himself and for the country. Just trying to think if there was any other major Olympic stuff.
So
um
we are in the lead for medal count. So we're not in the lead for gold, but we're in the lead for medals. China and Japan both have 15 gold. We have 14 gold, but we have 38 medals total, and Japan's the closest with 31.
oh, there you go.
I've actually been thinking about like watching stuff and trying to figure something out. We have downhill snowboarding and downhill or half pipe snowboarding, right?
Yeah.
Why don't we have half pipe skateboarding in the Summer Olympics?
I mean, I know that they're getting more and more of those, like I call them X Games. like events in the Olympics. Because I know they had like freestyle skateboarding this year for the first time. And um BMX biking, like the dirt bike riding or whatever.
Yeah.
I think they were going to have freestyle BMXing as well, for the first time. They had surfing for the first time. So I think they're getting more and more of the X game type events in it. And I wouldn't be surprised if eventually that creeps its way in.
And one thing that I would love to see in the Olympics, bowling.
That would be cool. Yeah.
I'd love to see bowling in the Olympics.
Yeah. I think that would be real fun to watch. I would definitely be all for that.
They actually petitioned to have it in this Olympics, and it got turned down by the Olympic Committee.
Ah, sailfish. Well, hopefully you can get in going forward then at some point. Um, well, let's move on to doing our shout outs. We can do that real quick. So we had our post, and because Jalen Ramsey saying, the top three wide receivers that he had covered was Hopkins, uh, Julio Jones, and Odell Beckham, and so we kind of put in our say of what we thought was um the top three. And let me bring it up here. So for yours, just to recap, yours was number one was Hopkins, number two was Diggs, and number three was Hill. um and then mine was Hopkins, Stephon Diggs, and then Devonte Adams. Um, Now, interestingly enough, before we get into the shout outs and the comments that were on there, I've been following and posting the Madden ratings as they've been coming out. And so it was kind of interesting to see the Madden ratings for the top wide receivers. And they actually put Devonte Adams at a 99 overall. He was the top wide receiver. And then after that, they had DeAndre Hopkins. And then third, I think, was Tyreek Hill. So interestingly enough, you didn't have Adams at all on your top three, and then I had him at number three, but Madden puts him at a 99 overall. Um,
So because of his stats last year. So I mean, he was the top receiver last year. He
yeah,
had the most yards, he had the most receptions, he had the most touchdowns. I think Madden doesn't give Stephon Diggs enough love,
yeah, yeah,
honestly. Like, don't get me wrong, if I had to do a top five, Devonte Adams would be in there. He'd be number 4, hands down.
yeah.
Devonte Adams is that good. But
You gotta
I think Tyreek Hill does more for his team than Devonte Adams does.
well, you got to think about who the quarterback's been for these people too. You think about um, Hopkins, like who's been throwing him the ball before Deshaun Watson? Like,
Let's see. Savage, Brock, Osweiler.
yep.
There's
So
been a lot.
yeah,
He's had like he's been in the league what 8 years, 7 years, and
some
he's had 12 different quarterbacks.
and you think about how good he has been with all those different quarterbacks. And, Devonte Adams has just been Aaron Rodgers throwing at an MVP level last year. So, I
Yeah.
mean, I that's why I kind of think Hopkins doesn't get enough love because he has all these different types of quarterbacks and he's still putting up ridiculous numbers.
How
Uh,
many drop passes did he have last year?
Dropped passes.
How many dropped passes did DeAndre Hopkins have last year?
I'm not sure for last year. 5.
5.
Damn.
5 drop passes. The year before, 0.
Yeah, it was 0 the year before. I remember that. Yeah.
He had 0 dropped passes. The dude doesn't drop things. His hands are glue.
Yeah, exactly.
And
So
Devonte Adams, it was just, watching Devonte Adams, the dude gets out of his routes quick. And if you watch most receivers, they're using their hands when they're getting out of their routes. Like you can tell they're going to stop and then they turn for their route. Devontae Adams, his hands are down low, so you can't really tell. Like cornerbacks like reading the hands and the chest. So if he's coming straight at you and he doesn't have the chest movement or the hand movement, and all of a sudden he steps and he's gone, he's going to be open a lot faster than the dude that's got his hands up. So, like, watch the receivers, watch them get out of the routes. Devontae Adams is probably one of the best route runners in the league. Like, absolutely one of the best, probably the best route runner in the entire league. DeAndre Hopkins is the best at catching the ball.
Yeah.
And holding on to it. Tyreek Hill is just the fastest dude on the damn field.
Yeah.
And he makes crazy catches. That's what I love about him is like he'll be running down the field and like he'll have a corner cutting at him. So he'll just like turn his body enough to be able to catch the ball all awkward. Or he throws his body out there to catch the ball. Like he's short. Like there was a video of him actually racing Chad Johnson and Terrell Owens. And he beat both of them. He gave them both a 10-yard head start. And he beat them both.
Yeah.
But he hits them like right here. They're like 6'4", 6'5", and he's like 5'10". So just being that fast and being able to get open, and even when he's not open, he just makes crazy, stupid catches. But then you have Patrick Mahomes throwing to you too. But I mean, he was doing that with Alex Smith.
Yeah. Yeah. And Alex Smith, not too shabby either. So, but yeah, that is definitely true. It's interesting each one the skills that they have and that sets them apart, you know. So Colt, I not pronounce his last name, Shorter. He has Adams at number 1, Hill number 2, and Diggs at number 3. And he has his podcast Buffalo Nerd that you guys can go and check out.
Yeah, check it out. He's pretty good.
Yeah, and he has some superstars as guests on his podcast as well, and they all contribute to charity. So it's really awesome. Definitely go check his out. I told him that I was surprised that he put Diggs at number 3 just because of him being a Bills fan. But you know, he said that he can put that to the side and recognize, you know, that Hill is, you know, one of the top ones up there. So let's see, and then we got Lamarcus Allen Jr., who said just replace OBJ with Adams. So he likes Hopkins, Jones, and then Adams. You know, I'm surprised that, you know, people are wanting Julio Jones up there. You know, maybe with him coming off an injury, he's gonna have a big season.
Maybe not having Matt Ryan throw to him, having Ryan Tannehill throw to him.
Yeah.
You know, Tannehill proved that he can actually throw the ball pretty well this last year.
Yeah. Let's see. Johnny Loomis says Thielen, then Jefferson, then Adams. And I was like, well, good way to stick with your team. We'll have to talk about your picks on the podcast because I said, I'm assuming you're a big Vikings fan. And he said, yep. So, putting 2 Vikings players in 1 and 2, and then putting Adams, who is in your division as well, at 3. I mean, that just screams Vikings fan.
I mean, Thielen, I could do. He's probably. I wouldn't put him top 5, but he's definitely top 10.
Yeah, I was gonna say definitely top 10 for sure.
Definitely. Yeah. And Jefferson, number 1 rookie last year, like he was a beast. He surprised me. Like when the Vikings took him, I was like, "Who is this kid?" And he showed up like hardcore for the Vikings. So, I mean, I wouldn't even put him like top 10 though. I wouldn't.
Not yet. He's got a lot to prove.
Yeah, I don't think he's there yet. So obviously, like people are gonna have bias towards their team. My team, like my bias on my team is I have a top 3 tight end.
There you
Like
go. Yeah.
I can only name 2 tight ends that I would rather have over Darren Waller, and even then, I probably wouldn't take them over Darren Waller because Darren Waller is such a damn beast.
Yeah, that's true. You definitely have a top three in him for sure. Um, let's see. So Brandon Hales, he says Cowboys fans be like number one Dak, number two Zeke, number three don't matter because we're winning it all anyways. Then he
I
said,
laughed a little hard at that one.
yeah, he said me as an intellectual would put number one Hopkins, number two Adams, number three Tyreek Hill. And he said, and honestly, deciding between Hill and Diggs is not fun. But considering situation and who's throwing the ball, I give the edge to 10. So
Makes sense.
basically saying, having Mahomes throwing to him instead of it being
Josh Allen.
Josh Allen is the difference maker for what he was saying. But
I don't know. Josh Allen
Cowboys
proved himself.
Cowboys comment was hilarious though, because to be honest, you probably would run into some Cowboy fans that would say that.
Plenty. I've already ran into a few. Like, so being a bouncer at the bar, like get all kinds of people coming in, Broncos fans all the time, and I always give them crap because right there, boy, Raiders, Raider Nation. Yeah. No, there's a dude that came in, he was wearing Cowboys stuff, like straight up Cowboys hat, Cowboys shirt. He had a wristband that was Cowboys. I'm like, good Lord, dude. I'm like, you rep your team much? He's like, the Cowboys are the greatest team to ever play football. I was like, what? He's like, Dak Prescott is going to prove he's the best quarterback in the league this year. I'm like, I've got nothing to say to you, dude. Like, Prescott's good. Prescott's good, but I mean, you had the top offensive line. Like, you had 3 Hall of Famer offensive linemen on your team. Like, you're going to be protected. Now, put them on a team like the Bucks with a shitty offensive line. Yeah, Dak Prescott ain't going to do crap. That proves Tom Brady's better.
Oh yeah, that's true. Someone posted a picture the other day of Tom Brady in a Cowboys jersey, and it said the best way to prevent him from getting another ring.
Yeah, I saw that. I think you sent that to me, dude. I died. I showed that to my mom because she's a Cowboys fan.
Oh my gosh, I love it. Alrighty, let's see, and then we have Marvin Shaw who said number one would be Hopkins, but he didn't give us a number two or a number three. Um, Chad Jr. Alcombrack. Sorry if I mispronounced that. He had number one Diggs, number two Hopkins, number three Adams. So I asked him in a comment, I said, thanks for commenting. Why did you have Diggs at number one? Because, a lot of consensus, had either Adams or Hopkins at number one with all the people that commented. He said, all three are great route runners. All three have amazing hands. But we've seen how now that Diggs has a real quarterback, he can make things happen. Add in Sanders and not all the attention is on him and he is set for a breakout year. So he's saying with Sanders being added in, that's going to free up Diggs to have a breakout year this year where it's not all focused on him.
Definitely could. I mean, he had what 1,100 yards, 1,200 yards, something like that last year. So
Yeah,
I mean, you could call that a breakout year because he never had that with the Vikings.
yeah, true. I mean, you look at the people that were throwing him the ball too. When you say
Kirk
point that
Cousins.
out, what's up?
Don't get me started on Kirk Cousins, man.
Yeah. So, but yeah, it looks like I think that's all of our comments. Unless I missed some. Let me make sure. Click on all comments here. But I think I covered everyone's picks there. So yeah, I mean, we appreciate all those people that were commenting on it, and I think the general consensus was it was either Adams, Diggs, or Hill. Basically, everybody had that. No one really put Julio Jones in there or OBJ like Jalen Ramsey did. Um, you know,
But I mean, he's actually covered them, so I
yeah,
think his opinion is a little higher than ours. Because he's actually covered these guys and he knows how good they really are. Like
true.
we see it as like, yeah, these guys are putting up numbers or these guys are smoking the corners. Like, but shout out to Jalen Ramsey though. I want to throw that out there. The 99 for Madden has always been like the Aaron Donald show. But seeing Jalen Ramsey actually get his 99, that's awesome. It's really, really cool.
It was awesome. And he actually gave, when he got it, he gave a shout out to Aaron Donald and said, if I'm in the 99 club, then Aaron Donald's in the 105 club. So he gave a huge shout out to Aaron Donald, and he said next year's Madden cover, he said it won't be Mahomes and Brady. He said it's going to be Jalen Ramsey and Aaron Donald on the cover next year. So Aaron Donald got his 99 again for the 5th year in a row.
Yep.
5 years in a row, he's been rated 99 on Madden.
Yeah, but who's really going to mess with that dude? If they give him a 98, he's going to show up at EA Sports and be like, all right, who am I fighting? You don't want to mess with that dude.
Who am I hulking out on, basically?
He is 6 foot, 300 pounds, and benches 700. Like, I'm not messing with that dude. He warms up at 500 pounds. Like, who the hell does that? Okay, no. He makes double teams look like a freaking solo team. Whatever. I can't words right now.
Yeah, that is true. Hopefully, Jalen getting the 99, Aaron Donald getting the 99. We can get that confidence booster for the other players on defense and bring back that number one defense that we had last year. I know it's hard to do again, but gotta go in at least hoping. When you have 99 on your team in Aaron Donald, you're going in with an advantage already, even if you aren't the number one defense. So
yeah, because you have to put 2 people on him.
Yeah.
Otherwise, he's going to wreck your offense.
Yep.
Thank God we don't play you guys this year.
Avoidance is key, right?
I think we get you on preseason.
Preseason we do?
I think so.
Aaron Donald doesn't really play in preseason, let's be honest.
No.
Alrighty, well, let's
yeah, we get the Rams August 21st.
Oh, there you go.
Wow, preseason's next week, man. Or no, 2 weeks. 2 weeks.
Yeah, I know. And NFL Top 100 will be starting pretty soon, so we'll be able to get to see how the players voted as the top 100 players. The HBO Hard Knocks will be starting here on the 5th or 6th or something like that.
I'm not gonna waste my time.
I will. I enjoy
the Cowboys again. You see Dak Prescott got hurt again?
I saw something about a shoulder injury, maybe.
Yeah, he got injured in practice. Had a shoulder injury in practice, and they're hoping that it's not bad. Which I mean, I don't wish ill will on him at all. Like, he's a pretty good dude, and I don't wish ill will on him. But I hate the Cowboys.
The dude's injury prone. I mean, you just paid him all that money, and he's might be injured now.
I've never really had respect for the Cowboys. I mean, I loved watching Emmitt Smith and Troy Aikman. Loved watching them. They were fun to watch. But never really had respect for the Cowboys. And then I lost all respect for the Cowboys even more last year when Zeke Elliott ran in that touchdown and then lifts up his shirt. And it's just a big, letter tattooed across his stomach that says, "Feed me." Like, oh my God, dude, you're stupid. You're going to regret that in 5 years. That's dumb. That is the dumbest tattoo I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
Not really, but no regrets is pretty bad.
Yeah, exactly. No, I mean, I feel you on that. It's that was just all for show, and that's that's all that was. And um, hey, Dallas has always been the team that has been known as we'll take the drama queens, we'll take the people who are like that. So it's what they get. I mean, they're always known for taking those type of people, and that's
The
what
Raiders are known for taking all the scrappers and dirty players. That's why I'm really surprised that Dominican Stu's never signed with the Raiders.
maybe one day before he retires. So here we'll wear the silver and black.
No, I don't want him to. He'll give us a bad rap.
Oh man. Well, let's see. Well, getting into it, more of football here, just to cover some of the stuff we posted. 49ers sign Warner to a 5-year, $95 million extension. So they have their all-pro linebacker for another 5 years. Um, so that'll be interesting. Reports that Deshaun Watson expected to report to camp, but he still wants to be traded. And the
there's
Titans
also
are actually open to trade talks now.
there's actually a talk of a straight across trade, no draft picks, just Aaron Rodgers for Deshaun Watson.
Which will not happen because Aaron Rodgers is now reported to camp, and they gave him his contract that he wanted, where it will make him a free agent at the end of the next year.
End of this year. So
Well,
it's end of this season.
yeah, this season. That's what I meant. Yeah. So Rodgers getting the deal that he wanted. So it looks like he's happy and content. So I highly doubt that that's going to happen now as a trade, especially with him reporting to Aaron Rodgers reporting to camp. So
yeah, would you rather have Aaron Rodgers, the MVP, or Deshaun Watson, the rapist?
well, I mean, it's one of those things. If you want someone who's coming to the end of their career, or someone that could potentially, have a good future going forward, depending how much of these allegations are true, obviously, with Deshaun Watson, you know, who knows how long this is going to take when it comes to everything that's been going on with that, and if it's ever going to end. Is the NFL even going to let him play with all these allegations? Like I have no idea what's in store for his future, but I can tell you what, don't draft him on your fantasy football team.
Oh, I won't.
Because he's up in the air. It's unknown. So
We'll leave that open for Andrew this year. He can take him.
he can have him draft 4 quarterbacks in the first round.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I know you were saying with Aaron Rodgers, but I don't think I've really heard any reports of any other team trying to go after him, to be honest.
Nope.
So
it was just like a little rumor, a little blurb that said that they discussed it, but it never went any further than the discussion. Was that just a straight across trade for? It was Aaron Rodgers for Deshaun Watson. I think it was just like a little blip.
yeah,
It's not something that's going to ever happen, but it was a trade rumor, basically.
Yeah. Well, fair enough. Well, like I said, I see him being a Texan still. I mean, who's the backup for them? I don't even know who's like supposed to be even starting if he's not even going to play.
Might still be Brock Osweiler.
God help us all if that's the case.
Let's see.
I know who I'm picking against in our NFL picks when we do them then. Which we're going to have to go back to doing once a week again once the football season starts. So that way we'll be able to get our picks in each week.
Oh, shit. They have a good backup, actually.
Oh, yeah? Who's that?
Tyrod Taylor.
Hmm.
He's not bad. Like Tyrod Taylor's the guy that's always just set the bar for everybody else to come into. Like he sets a team up for, like he set up the Bills for Josh Allen. He set up the Browns for Baker Mayfield. He set up the Chargers for Josh, whatever the hell his name is.
Oh, gosh, now I'm blanking.
Long hair from freaking Oregon. Oh
Yeah,
my God. Justin. It's not Josh, it's Justin.
Fields? No, that's the other guy. Golly, Ned, I don't
He
know why.
won Rookie of the Year.
I don't know why you do this to me.
Right? I always brain fart on things like this.
Golly, Ned, now I gotta like look it up here.
Justin Herbert.
Yeah, Justin Herbert. Yeah, I just found it as soon as you found it.
Oh,
Yeah, he has set up all those people. You are right. Like he's set up each rookie to come in as his heir apparent. But yeah, he's good though. Like he isn't that awful. So not too bad
He's
as a backup.
just like Fitzpatrick.
What's up?
He's just like Fitzmagic.
Yeah.
He's got a great arm. He's good at controlling the field. He's definitely a field general, and he can run. Like I don't know. I think he's actually a starting caliber quarterback. He may not be like a top 10, but he's definitely a starting caliber. But he's always been put on the back burner. It's kind of messed up, but
Yeah. Another thing that we posted, Chandler Jones from the Cardinals requesting a trade. Never really looked into it to see why he's asking for one, but interesting when the Cardinals are trying to basically go all in to win this year. Getting J.J. Watt and getting A.J. Green and all those veterans, trying to bring them in to like I said, go all in for this season. So be interesting to see if the Cardinals actually do trade him to another team. It doesn't always happen just because the player requests it. So
yeah.
let's see. A lot of the other stuff. Yep, all the other stuff that we posted, we've either talked about or it's a different sport. Um, So yeah, anything else that we need to cover for football? I don't think there's any other big news because I know Aaron Rodgers coming back was the big one, but we've already talked about that.
The league still hasn't passed anything down on the Bucks, so I'm wondering if they're actually going to.
I guess another thing that we could talk about too about when it comes to the league is them with their COVID protocols and the strict rules that they're doing for it.
Yeah.
A lot of players are contemplating, including DeAndre Hopkins, of retiring if they force players to get the vaccine. Do you think it's going to cause a lot of problems for this year? We've already had 2 assistant coaches get fired because they won't take it.
I think it's going to cause problems, but the government has actually come out and stated that employers have the right to mandate whether you have the vaccine or not to be able to work. That being said, because they can mandate, because your employer can mandate, the NFL is technically the employer for all of the players. Granted, they are on teams that teams have the owners, but the owners still have to report up through the NFL. They still have to go through the owners organization to actually make any changes. And if the NFL hands down and says, you have to be vaccinated, that's fully within their right as an employer. And if you don't take it, your options are you quit or you get fired. Like, that's it.
Yeah. And I guess there's talks of teams having to forfeit during the season as well for games. So, I mean,
I don't think that's right. Like, that's not cool. Because if all of if you have one player like DeAndre Hopkins doesn't get vaccinated, so he's out, he's retired for the season, he's not allowed to play, whatever. You still have the rest of the team that got vaccinated. Let them play the damn game. That's one player. Yeah. Now, if the whole team or the coaching staff or the owner doesn't agree with it, then yes, your team's going to have to forfeit.
Yeah. So, I mean, I'm not sure the exact rules for the forfeit. I just know I read somewhere where they were talking about that, and players were getting upset that games would have to be forfeited for certain reasons. I don't know if it was because if they have a certain amount of players who test positive, then they have to forfeit. I can't remember, exactly what it was, but it it's part of what's going on with the world today. I mean, going back to the Olympics real quick, one of the Olympians tested positive for COVID while they were there, and they had to back out of the Olympics. They couldn't compete for America because they tested positive while they were there. I mean, I that would suck if that was me, training for 4 years, and then you get there, you test positive for COVID, and then they're like, all right, you can't compete. Like, that makes it rough. So I mean, we'll see. Uh, like you were saying, players retire or quit or get fired, or like I said, there's already been 2 assistant coaches that have gotten fired because of it. So
Yeah.
I just can't believe that they're that upset about it. They're that worried about it that they can't just go and get a vaccine shot. Like you're throwing away your coaching career because you don't want to get a vaccine shot. Like that
Well,
doesn't make
I feel that that's fully within their right because there hasn't been enough research on the vaccine to prove that it's actually going to inhibit you from getting the virus.
yeah.
There's no like the CDC has come out and actually said we don't know if it's going to prevent the virus in the future. We hope so. It's the closest thing that we've got.
Yeah.
But if there's a variant, you're still going to have to probably get a booster. You're probably going to still have to wear a mask because you getting the shot, you can still get people sick. And it's like, it's questionable. I think it's going to end up being something like the flu shot, where you have to get it every year because there's going to be a different variant every year. But
Yeah.
we don't wear masks for the flu. Why the hell are we wearing masks for the COVID? Same damn transmission rate.
Yeah, that is very true. So I mean, it'll be interesting to see. I can agree with you. It'll probably be like the flu shot, just having to get that every year.
Because it's a virus. It's going to evolve. Like
Yeah,
you get
different
a shot,
variants.
it's like the flu. You get the shot, and then the next year it's evolved, and that shot no longer works because it's actually become immune to that vaccine. So you can still get the flu. So they have to change the flu shot to actually update for the new strain of flu. It's going to be the same thing with COVID.
Yeah, yeah, I know.
But politics aside,
Oh,
sports.
oh yeah. I mean, hey, it has to deal with the NFL, and that's a big thing. So I mean, it definitely goes along with it. So, um, something I think noteworthy to point out for baseball, the former Cleveland Indians after the 2021 season will go by the Cleveland Guardians. Um, and I actually like the name. I like the logo. I think the logo is cool. Um, and I like how they stepped up and they did something quick. They were like, okay, we need to change it. We need to be more sensitive to Native Americans, so we're going to change it. And I actually really like it, and I think the Cleveland now will be called Guardians. I think they did a great job. I think it's funny that a baseball team like that can move and get things going and make a nice logo and everything, and then a team like the Washington football team is taking like 3 years to decide what name they're going to change to, and they have no logo. Like I just think that just says a lot about the owner of the team, and people have always complained about the owner of the Washington football team. So,
Well, and to throw that out there, the Washington football team has been a football team since like the 60s or 70s. The Cleveland Indians have been a team since 1915. They've been the Cleveland Indians since 1915.
yeah,
That is 106 years that they have been the Cleveland Indians. The Washington football team was the Redskins for like 40 years. Like
big difference. Yeah,
it's not difficult. Like you've been given suggestions. There's been polls online. Pick a name, pick something. Like,
Yeah, you're a multi-million-dollar team. You can pay someone to make a nice logo, and you can, make a bunch of logos and just pick one, and
hey,
then, pick.
what's graphic design, right? You have your
Yeah,
bachelor's in graphic design.
yeah.
So design something up and send it to them and say, hey, pay me $100,000. There you go. That's all I want. It's your logo.
Your logo. There you go. Yeah, exactly. So I mean, it's one of those things where it's just funny, like I said, that they're dragging their feet and they're having such a hard time with it. Another year, this year will be the Washington football team again, and I think it's kind of ridiculous that they had all off season to be able to do something and they couldn't do it. So, and it'll be the stupid logo still, the W, and the stupid number on the helmets. So. Um, just I thought it was interesting, with Cleveland making that statement saying that they're going to go this direction. Like I said, mad props to them. Something else.
One thing I want to throw out about Cleveland as well is, like, I've seen a lot of white people saying on Facebook, save Chief, don't change the name. It's like, do you not care that it's offensive? Like, I mean, that's not even how Indians dress. That's not how Indians were. Native Americans, not Indians. I apologize.
Yeah.
But, it's just shut up and let it happen. Like, stop offending people. Stop thinking your opinion is better than everybody else's, and fuck off.
Well, yeah, it's one of those things where, fair enough if you don't like that they're changing it, but you're not the owner of the team and you're not worried about, publicity like the team is. So it, if you're that diehard of a fan that you want them to keep the name, then you should be all right with them changing the name and you should still be a fan. Um, I was a huge St. Louis Rams fan and they moved the team to LA and I said, all right, I'm going to be a Los Angeles Rams fan now. Like, I can't sit here and whine and complain that they moved the team. I just have to, if you're a real fan, then you just stick with them. So, you know,
Perfect example, the Seattle Supersonics.
yeah.
They moved to Oklahoma City and became the Thunder. I still followed them.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, yeah, like we said at the beginning of the show, unfortunately, like you had just said, people have their opinions and they think that's the only one that matters. So that's how it goes sometimes. Um,
But opinions need to be tempered if they are of the racist kind.
yeah.
Racist and sexist opinions are not opinions. That's just you being an asshole. That's really what it is. Like,
Yeah.
so I mean, having opinions about things is one thing, but defending your opinion because you're a racist or a sexist, like, no, screw you. You're an asshole. I said
Yeah.
it. If people don't like that, say it to my face. I dare you.
Boom. No, yeah, I definitely agree with you on that for sure. And then with you mentioning Seattle with them moving and then they became OKC. Your Seattle Kraken are not going to get good old Ovechkin signed a 5-year, $47.5 million contract with the Capitals.
Go back to the last podcast. What did I say?
You said if he did join, then you would
I would
become.
be a fan.
Yeah.
But what else did I say? I said Ovechkin is not leaving the Capitals.
Oh, yeah.
And you were like, I don't know because they haven't worked anything out. And I said, he's not leaving the Capitals. He's the face of that team.
He really is, yeah. So good to see that, 5 years more, he'll probably end his career there. So happy to see that and happy to see someone stick with the same team their whole career. It doesn't happen very often. So cool that they were able to get something done. The Seattle Kraken making a lot of picks and getting a lot of their players from other teams and signing free agents and what was really funny is they had signed the goal. Well, they didn't sign, but they had traded and gotten the goalie from the Capitals, and I was just like, oh man, well he was a pretty good goalie for us. Too bad we couldn't keep him. And then like 4 days later, something like that, the Kraken end up signing this like really good goalie. He had like the most saves like last year. I think it was the goalie for the Avalanche. They end up signing him to a big deal, and as soon as they signed him, the Capitals traded a draft pick back to the Kraken, and then got our goalie back that we had given them. So he basically went to the Kraken and then came back to the Capitals after the Kraken signed what they're thinking is going to be a better goalie for them, obviously. So they were like, well, we don't need two goalies. So, well, you need more than one goalie, obviously, but they were like, well, we're going to pay this guy all this money, so we're going to keep him. So I felt bad for him. I was just like, man, that poor guy doesn't know where he's living. One second he's living in Washington, then they're like, okay, you got to move to Seattle. And then 4 days later, they're like, never mind, you can stay in Washington.
So he moved from Washington to Washington, back to Washington.
Yeah. I mean,
Which
easy.
Washington are you from, dude? I don't know.
I have no idea. So nearby you, the Vegas Golden Knights, they trade their really good goalie in Fleury to the Chicago Blackhawks. Um, so Vegas, getting rid of their veteran goalie who's kind of set the stage for them, and the reason why they had that Stanley Cup push the first year that they were a team, an organization. So now he's gone to the Blackhawks. Um, excuse me. So with that, I don't know how well the Golden Knights will do with not having him now. So that will be interesting to see how their season goes. So, excuse me, it seems like a lot of trading going on, a lot of things happening, mainly because of the Seattle Kraken and all the stuff that they had to do to get all their players. But the Seattle Kraken signed some really good people, so it'll be interesting to see, how they do. With because like I said, free agency they signed a bunch, and then the draft picks and getting a player from each team. I mean, they're set up pretty well right now. It seems like
Yeah, they're looking good.
you're gonna wear all Seattle Kraken stuff next year. I can see it now. Like,
Nope. My team's in Vegas, so I'm gonna root for Vegas.
there you go. You gotta stick with the Vegas crowd. Um, so yeah, that's all the major stuff that we kind of been posting on our Facebook page to kind of keep everyone updated with uh, what's been going on and what's been happening. We had a good discussion about the Olympics.
Big
Was
trade
there
in the NBA.
was up?
Big trade rumor in the NBA right now. The Lakers are trying to get Russell Westbrook. They're talking of sending. I saw it in just a minute. Who was it that they're talking about sending? They're really close to acquiring him. They're going to send Kyle Kuzma, Montrezl Harrell, and Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, and the number 22 pick in Thursday's draft to Washington. So a first round pick.
I wonder how close of a deal it's going to happen. Like if it's actually going to go through or not.
It's close. But the Lakers are also trying to get sharpshooter Buddy Hield from the Sacramento Kings.
Whew. Who's trying to get him?
The Lakers.
How are they going to get him?
Huh?
How are they going to get him if they're doing all these trades to be able to get Westbrook?
I don't know.
Well, I know that they were in talks of trying to get Chris Paul as well. Not as well. It was going to be either him or Westbrook.
Yeah, so they're trying to get Buddy Hield and Westbrook to go with LeBron James and AD. Like, that's just stupid.
Gosh, that's ridiculous. I mean, I guess if they're wanting to compete against the Nets next year, because you have to think if the Nets are fully healthy, then they end up beating the Bucks in the playoffs. Like I feel like if they were 100% healthy, then the Bucks wouldn't have beaten them in the playoffs. I could be wrong. I mean, maybe the Bucks, it was their destiny, and I give props to Giannis, but I feel like the Suns kind of threw it away. They lost 4 straight. Um,
No, I'm so pissed at what Giannis said in his interview.
oh, really? When?
So afterwards, it was like a couple days after, like they did their whole parade and everything. They
Yeah.
went back to Milwaukee, and he sat down and he said, I'm happy I won this one because I did it right. I didn't have a super team. I stayed where I was drafted, and I won a championship for my city.
Yeah.
Now I can actually go to a super team and win 3 or 4 more.
He did say that, did he?
Yeah, I'm like, what? What? You're gonna pull a LeBron? Like, what? Yeah. He said that, and I was like, wait. I had to look it up to make sure that that's actually what he said. Like I watched the interview, and yeah, he legit says it. I was like, what? Why are you gonna say that? Like that just probably pissed off your entire team, dude.
Oh yeah. I
Like
mean,
you still have 2 years on your contract.
or it's just a way for him to be able to get more money going forward. Keep him there, keep him the face of that franchise. Um, I think he knows though too. Like they can't beat like a Nets. They can't beat the Brooklyn Nets if they're 100% healthy. So I think he kind of knows that this year was kind of their year. They got a little lucky, and like I said, I feel like the Suns kind of threw it away. They kind of choked in a couple of the games at the last second. And of course, I mean the refing wasn't all that great either. So I don't know, and it's going to be hard for the Suns to compete again if the Lakers are trying to stack up, and and then that makes it hard for the Jazz. What are the Jazz going to do with the Lakers stacking up? The Clippers were looking pretty good as well. There was a couple games where it came down to the wire against the Suns. So, and Kawhi was injured, and so that helped the Suns. And so they were like, the Clippers were basically like, well, we lost a couple games by like 1 or 2 points. Like if Kawhi was healthy, we would have won. So this there's a lot when it comes to the NBA. I like the NBA because I feel like, I mean, it is kind of one-sided with these super teams, but I guess with the Bucks winning, it kind of showed that they can beat super teams. I don't know. I have mixed feelings about it. The NFL, it's kind of more like every year you draft and then you have hopes of, hey, maybe this will be our year, or you get a couple people in free agency. The NBA, I feel like they do the draft and it's like, okay, well, you're not going to win because of the person you drafted, like so, and I don't really see them making a big deal about the NBA draft this year. I don't really think there's anybody that's really going to set themselves apart. But if if they get the deal done and Westbrook goes to the Lakers, they're automatically going to be the number one favorite once that happens. So
We'll see, because LeBron likes to handle the ball, and so does Westbrook. So, and I don't think those two will actually like mesh well together. I think
personality wise, it doesn't seem like they would get along.
Yeah, I think Westbrook and AD would get along pretty well because he'd have somebody to kind of lob the ball to. But I don't think Westbrook and James are going to get along. Like, I could be proven wrong, and they could be the greatest team to ever play, but I don't see it working out very well. I see it like the same as when Westbrook went to the Rockets. He played half the season, was like, "Get me the hell out of here."
Yeah, true. So I mean, Gosh, yeah, chemistry is a big thing too. I mean, people think you put all these superstars on a team and then they're automatically supposed to be awesome. I mean, the Lakers, tried that one year. I remember when they had like Dwight Howard and like Steve Nash and like all these like superstars all on the Lakers, and then they ended up being terrible. They weren't good at all, and everyone was just like, "What happened? You're all superstars." And it's like, well, I mean, just because they're all superstars doesn't mean that it's gonna work out. Um,
Yeah.
I was trying to look at the Simmons trade thing too to point
Oh,
that out because
yeah. How the Warriors they wanted to trade for Simmons, and the 76ers wanted Andrew Wiggins and like two other players and 4 first-round draft picks, including the 2 this year. And the Warriors are like, no. Simmons ain't worth that much, man. Simmons can't shoot. He cannot shoot the ball. He's a 6'10" point guard that can't shoot.
I mean,
So
that's what I said about Giannis.
he's a
Giannis can't.
power forward with some dribbling skills.
What's
That's
up?
all. Huh?
What's up?
I said Ben Simmons is a power forward with some dribbling skills. That's all he is.
Well, I mean, like I said, I mean,
Giannis is a power forward.
yeah, I was gonna say Giannis that's what he does. I mean, so
But I mean, he's a power forward. His actual position is power forward. Ben Simmons is point guard.
maybe they're trying to have Curry like teach him some stuff, teach him how to shoot the ball again.
That shit's unteachable. That dude is unteachable. So many people have tried to teach him, and he still sucks.
Oh my goodness.
I'm not an NBA player, and I can shoot a 3-point better than he can.
Well, I mean, 76ers trying to unload him, they're gonna have to do something a lot cheaper than 4 first-round picks. Then, I mean,
I'm still a little bitter about Ben Simmons winning the Rookie of the Year over Donovan Mitchell too.
yeah, that's true. I mean, I
It
think
was technically his second year. Like he shouldn't have been eligible for Rookie of the Year. I don't care if he played his rookie year. He was drafted the year before. He
yeah,
should not be eligible for Rookie of the Year the next year.
yeah.
And Donovan Mitchell was way better than Ben Simmons.
Well, yeah, I mean, Mitchell put the team on his back his first year, and the way that he played in the playoffs was a lot better than Simmons as well. Um, so I totally forgot to bring up those things, so I'm glad that you mentioned them. For the NBA, I was totally gonna, go over it and not even bring it up. I totally forgot about it. But yeah, the Lakers making a move. LeBron gets what LeBron wants, and that's what LeBron wants, and that's what he's gonna get because he's basically the owner of the team. So
I wish he would retire.
he's got to win like 4 more before he'll be happy because he has to pass Jordan. So, but yeah, well, anything else that we missed that we needed to cover? I'm glad that you brought up the NBA trade stuff.
Earl Thomas still not signed.
Earl Thomas still not signed, so that means that's the end of our podcast. That's when we know we're at the end. Always the signature go to. Well, we appreciate everyone listening. We appreciate on YouTube, on Spotify, like all the different podcast listening ways. Always, like us, share us, comment, especially, we did all the shout outs for the wide receiver post. So that was a lot of fun to have all the comments on that, get people's reactions. Especially if they were only supporting their team. It was still fun. But
Nice to see a lot of comments too.
yeah, that's always awesome. Well, we appreciate you guys. We love you guys, and until next week or the week after, depending on when Chris gets back from his fun adventures around everywhere, then we'll be back for another episode until then. So we will catch you guys on the flip side.
Later.
Peace.